जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना प्रभुराज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती श्री भक्ति वेदांत सांसकोपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभुराज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव बंधु की जय। नमाचार्य हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त बंधु की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगामय यमुनामाई की जय। भक्ति देव तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त बंधु की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। इताय गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories. Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada की जय। ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निधि नाम नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Prabhupada की जय। Thank you very much for joining. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 2, Divinity and Divine Service, verse number 4. Chant, repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Hare Om Tat Sat. This is the verse we chant almost before the class, and that is the verse we are reading today. 1.2.4 Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Divinity, Divine Service, verse number 4. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Word-to-word translation. Narayanam, the personality of Godhead. Namakrutya, after offering respectful obeisances. Naram Chaiva, and Narayana Rishi. So, we should change to our, in this same way, Namakrutya, after offering respectful obeisances. It is not saying offering humble obeisances. So, this is the proper and the most appropriate to use whenever we say Pam Ho or please accept my obeisances. It should be respectful obeisances for elders, superiors, spiritual masters. So that is we need to learn from here. We can see Nara Uttamam, Naram Chaiva, Narayana and Narayana Rishi. Nara Uttamam, the supermost human being. Devi, the goddess. Sarasvati, the mistress of learning. Vyasam, Vyasadeva. Tataha, thereafter. Jayam, all that is meant for conquering. Udirayet, be announced. Translation by Devanga Jesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Repeat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. So, try to understand here. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pungum Langete Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Denataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Vishnu Jai. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadanti Goswam Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Bhakta Ki Jai. So very important verse, this 1.2.4. Narayana Namaskricha Naram Cheva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. So so far we are discussing the Canto 1, Chapter 1. We went through that, but just to recap, the first three verses are establishing Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. So our relationship with the living entities, Jiva's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and and then practicing on that relationship after knowing, and it is rejecting all the other Upadharma, Chaladharma, secondary aspects, secondary duties. It is only talking about establishing the prime duty of a human being, and then acting on that platform, that is the Abhideya. That is going to come in this verse also. We'll discuss then the Prayojana, means ultimate goal. So Vastu and Vastavam. Vastu is Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, object, ultimate shelter is Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Then Sota Saunuka and other rishis assembled in Naimisharanya. Bhagavatam begins with this, asking, Vyasadeva is first writing this, and then he is narrating what's happening on the ground. Saunuka and other rishis assembled in Naimisharanya, asking these 6 questions. What is the ultimate good for the people in general, which is the Bhagavad Tattva, Bhagavad Dharma, and what is the essence of all the scriptures, which is the holy name, and why did Krishna appear in the womb of Mother Devaki and Vasudev, Rupa, form of the Lord. And then they are asking about the incarnations, Gunavataras and Leela-avataras, 4th and 5th, asking about the qualities and Leelas, Nama, Rupa and Guna and Leela. Ultimately they asked, okay, Krishna left the planet, he is no longer here, then where did everything go? Religion, Dharma especially, where did it take shelter? So these are the 6 questions asked by, and the whole Srimad Bhagavatam gives the elaborate description, but briefly it is given, answers are given, 3 of them answers are given in this chapter. Divinity and divine is a very important chapter. So now in the second chapter, so far we have seen, so we can also see, just hearing from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So from Chaitanya Charitamrita we are hearing every day. There is a Chaitanya Leela pastimes have been given. So by my spiritual master. So there it is mentioned that how when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas, then he left suddenly. In the night, he didn't tell many, most of them he didn't tell, only he told Lord Nityananda Prabhu and then a few others, just 4 or 5 devotees. And then he went to Tattva and then he shaved his head and then has taken sannyas from Keshav Bharati. Then from there, then obviously Lord wanted to go to Vrindavan. Then Lord Nityananda Prabhu, being known, he is the most merciful nature. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself, Krishna coming in the mood of Srimati Radharani, he himself is the most merciful avatar, most and confidential, Channa avatar. It is mentioned in Vishnu Sahasranam also. Sannyasa Kritya Nishta Shanto Parayana. So 2 verses in Vishnu Sahasranam describing the Lord Chaitanya's appearance, how he appears with kartals and mridanga, that is, they are the associates, paraphernalia, how Lord appears. So Lord says, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gurat Vishayana. But more merciful than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Seeing the fever of these devotees, seeing the anxiety and separation of these devotees who are in Navadvip, who is in Mayapur, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving his association, performing kirtan and so many wonderful activities. Then Srivas Thakur and his mother Sachi Mata and so many other devotees. Everybody is overwhelmed with grief and why did he do this? Then no more meaning to this life. We want to give up and so much anxiety was going on. So Nityananda Prabhu, understanding this mood, very compassionately draw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into. He brought him to Navadvip Dham again, Mayapur, again to basically give the audience, to solace, give the audience to Sachi Mata at the house of Advaita Acharya, and then all the devotees can come and take the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at least a brief period of time. Obviously, as sannyas is not going to stay there, they all know, but Lord Nityananda Prabhu devised a plan to bring the Lord in this way, making him made him think like this is Vrindavan, the Ganga as Yamuna, so many ways. There also then finally understood Chaitanya, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda Prabhu, go ahead, go and please tell everybody that I am coming. Please tell before me reaching there. So then he tells Haridas, and various devotees are being sent, Haridas Thakur and Srivas Thakur, everybody comes to Advaita Acharya Prabhu's place. So there they meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after the sannyas. The similar way, I was relating, similar way, so that means they are already foreseeing, Lord Nityananda Prabhu foreseeing what is happening on the ground and seeing very compassionately. So now here Sanuka and other rishis are also seeing very compassionately what is going to happen in the Kali Yuga. They are already seeing the future. That's why they are asking these 6 questions. By looking at the future, they are not looking for interested so much about only for their deliverance. They are asking, so that's why we see in 1.1.10 about the Kali, the symptoms of Kali. So how people will be delivered. They will be short-lived, they cannot remember things. So many defects are there in this Kali Yuga, then how will they be delivered? So that's why after saying that only from 1.11 is the first question they are asking. So then we see these 6 questions. So in that same way it is indicating us that we should be also more compassionate and we should also distribute this knowledge, give this to whoever we can, to our parents, to our brothers, to our relatives. Whoever is receptive, little bit positive, then we can inform them, tell them to consider it, not force. So that way, so we should learn how to give this knowledge in a way it is conducive for them to accept it. So rather than becoming a force where they become negative. Second time anybody approaches, then they are already having that negative attitude, mood about this whole process. So that's why it should be careful how we present it. So Prabhupada has presented very nicely in a loving, compassionate way. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Lord Nityananda Prabhu, you can see with Jaga and Mother. So the same way, see here, Saunaka and other rishis very compassionately They are asking these questions for the benefit of all of us and the future generations. So that's why these first 2.1.2.1 is important. Perfect questions, perfect answers. What kind of questions, with what attitude, and Prabhupada is mentioning, and Acharya is mentioning about the submissive service and a constant service. Submissive mood and regularly, constantly, and trying to serve the spiritual master and his devotees. Then by this, naturally, then their questions will be perfect, their life will be perfect, they will be satisfying the spiritual master naturally and the Supreme Lord. So the spiritual master will know, even though he may not be present personally, he will know automatically, because Supreme Lord is there as Paramatma, he will know. Chaitya Guru as Paramatma is coming out as spiritual master. Sakshad haritvena samasta shastre muktasta dhava vyatayeva sadhvi kintu prabhorya priyeva tasya vande guru Sri Charanar Vindam. So Shastra is clearly telling Sakshad Haritvena. So spiritual master is not different from the Supreme Lord. He is a Sevaka, Bhagavan. He is accepting the service on behalf of the Supreme Lord. And he is presenting that service, that individual who is approaching him, offering that service and presenting it to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna through Srimati Radharani, through that parampara, it goes all the way up. So that is the way, when we are offering bhoga also, that's what is happening. One time I think Jayananda Prabhu, Jananivas Prabhu told, don't think that you are only offering these articles only going up. No, not only that, all the Acharya, all the parampara is offering their own, everybody there offering their own items. So it's not just only your items. So that way, so everything is personal about the Lord, his interactions, his devotees are always there in each and every aspect of it. Anyway, so that's the way to understand the 1.2.1, and then the second verse, where now the Sota Goswami was very pleased by these questions. Then Sota Goswami is then he started, before speaking, immediately first thing he has done is offering his obeisances to his spiritual master. Who is spiritual master? Sota Goswami's spiritual master is Sukadeva Goswami, because he was in the assembly of Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. He was there, Sota Goswami was there in that assembly. Various personalities were there. So even when Sukadeva Goswami walked in, even it is mentioned, Prabhupada is mentioning in some other lectures, Vyasdeva also stood up. Gurum Muninam, he is the foremost of the sages, he is the topmost devotee. He is not ordinary. So even Vyasdeva stood up. Vyasdeva is father, he doesn't need to stood up. So you can imagine, Sukadeva Goswami is not ordinary. As associate of Srimati Radharani, he has heard, he served Sri Radha and Krishna, he has heard from Lord Shiva, we were discussing last week. So we can see the qualities and he was there in the womb of 16 years. So that's why there it is mentioned, Yam Praprajantam Anupetam Apeta Krutyam Virahakat Rajuhava. So where he didn't even take any formalities. And then there I don't remember if we discussed, there is a process called Purascharya. So just like we shouldn't imitate Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami naturally is already in a Brahmabhuta stage, liberated stage. After he got his assurance from Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Vyasdeva is telling, hey, come out, already 16 years, too much, too long you are there in the womb. Then obviously he told, no, I need to get promise. Then Vyasdeva prayed to Lord, and then Lord has given the promise. Okay, I'll give only few seconds. Then he said, all right, that's enough for me. Then immediately he left. As soon as he came out from the womb of his mother, then immediately he left. That's why Vyasdeva was aggrieved. Not so much about the son coming out, leaving, just like ordinary dealings, father and son kind of that emotional feeling. Much more than that, because I'm supposed to give, because he's going to represent me, I have to give him the transcendental knowledge, and he's going to distribute this knowledge in that way. There are many aspects to it. So that's why Vyasdeva was aggrieved. And then it is mentioned there, Sarva Bodha Hridayam. So this Sukadeva Goswami is not ordinary devotee. So he is there in everybody's heart. He could understand, even the trees also responded in that way, because Paramatma is there in everybody's heart, even in the trees and every living entities. And that is the consciousness of Sukadeva Goswami. He was bare, naked, he was going. So he didn't care about anything because he was not absorbed. After he got the assurance that I will not be absorbed with this material nature. So that he was in the Brahmabhuta stage. But then that is the actual state of liberated state. But that is not the end. That is the beginning stage of devotion. So then they will be inclined to engage in devotion. Then they will perfect their life. So that's why Sukadeva Goswami was attracted by these verses spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam about the beauty of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and merciful nature of Lord Sri Krishna. When Vyasadeva sent his disciples, two people, to recite these beautiful verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, he was attracted by that, and then when he came back, then Vyasadeva spoke the whole Srimad Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami. So from this verse of 2.2, we understood that we need to follow the process of, not like Sukadeva Goswami imitating, we should follow the process of, there is a 1 year period, generally 6 months to 1 year period. Shastra is recommending 6 months, Purascharya. 6 months before the initiation, before surrendering to spiritual master, there is a process, Purascharya. In that there are 5 things. Not only us, the Shastra is giving examples, Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they themselves also has done this Purascharya process. Prabhupada is explaining one of those classes where it is mentioned that Purascharya includes 5 things. One is the chanting the holy name of the Lord and performing sacrifices and offering oblations and feeding Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and chanting the holy name of the Lord. So, in this way, these 5 things and worshipping the deity. These 5 things must be done. Then, in this way, as well as then what Rupa Goswami and Sanatana, they are already reading. They are expert in studying the Shastra, but they are under this Nawab Hussain Shah's government. They thought they are impure. So they engaged Brahmanas, 2 Brahmanas also engaged them in every day, chanting the holy name of the Lord for their benefit, so that they can progress. It is mentioned there, Prabhupada is mentioning elaborately about this Diksha, Divya Jnanam Chapayati. It reveals, it removes the ignorance and establishes the transcendental knowledge. Guru puts the Bhakti Lata beach in the heart of a devotee, removes the simple activity till that point of time. So there it is mentioning about this. By this Purascharya process, very quickly, rapidly, the heart becomes fertile to receive this transcendental knowledge. It will become much more quickly and fast. So that there Prabhupada is also mentioning. So out of these 5 things, so that's why we want the practitioner to attend regularly Arati in the temple and follow the process of chanting and associate with the devotees, take prasadam and serve the devotees. In this way, then after 6 months or a year, then they can approach one of our spiritual master and surrender and take initiation. In this way, Shastra is clearly telling. So, not imitate Sukadeva Goswami, but this is the process. For us, it is recommended. And Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami also has done it. They are not ordinary. They are at the level, they are directly the associates of Srimati Radharani. Pure devotee, they are appearing in this world to distribute the knowledge, becoming the spiritual masters. So, they are setting that example that we should also follow the process of taking, so we should also follow the process of this Purascharya Shastra, Pancharatriga Vidhi. This is coming under Pancharatriga Vidhi, where this initiation is given under the fire sacrifice, and the name is changed, and the beads are given, neck beads are there, and chanting on the Tulsi beads, and then following 4 regulars. These things are there. So that is all Pancharatriga Vidhi. And then on top of it, Bhagavata Vidhi is there, that is Sravanam and Kirtanam, chanting and hearing. This is the topmost thing. In order for us to develop love of God, love for Krishna Prema, then the chanting and hearing is the main thing. And we will come to that in this verse specifically. Much more details are there. So that is the verse number 2. In verse number 3, where it is further, Sota Goswami is offering his obeisance to Guru Munina, to that Sukadeva Goswami, who has given this transcendental knowledge. This is the approach, this is the process. Before we speak, it is a mandatory, it is a must, so that then only we can speak something. then only knowledge and realization can come out. Knowledge can be revealed, actual Vijnana. Otherwise it will not transform us, neither our heart nor the receivers, not the listeners. So that's why it is very important in this way, follow the same approach as Sutta Goswami here. And then further it is mentioned, yes, Swanubhavam Akila Srutisaram Ekam Tamonandam, where it is mentioned, Sukadeva Goswami or Swanubhavam, he has assimilated personally the transcendental knowledge himself, and then he distributed. Swanubhavam, by his own experience, by his own realizations, he has studied, and then he has assimilated and distributed like sun. Wherever sun is there, heat and light, and it is always distributed. The darkness goes away. As soon as sun comes up, fog and everything get destroyed. And it is very important also for us to, whenever we see the sun, we remember Krishna immediately, Surya Narayan. So we should offer from Brahma Samhita prayer. This helps us. So we can practically see how, that's a morning walk. It helps us, especially sunrise time, sunset time also we can go, but sunrise time is very, very good. Especially if you are close by beach, it is even good. The walking at the beach in the morning, that wind, that is very good for health also. Prabhupada used to go for morning walk. If it is in nearby beach, he used to go there. Otherwise, wherever he is park or something, wherever. But he used to go every day in the morning, even in the cold time also, winter also. So this is a very good practice. It is health reason, it is good, and also we should see everything, nature, whenever we see, we should remember Krishna. So we should offer that Echakshurya Savita Sakala Grahana Raja Saram Murti Rasheshate Yasyagnaya Samvriti Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Vaja. So Lord Surya is giving, he is the eyes, he is giving the vision, otherwise we can't even see. If the Surya is not there, our hands, nothing will work, nothing will move. So much for not only just seeing the vision, not only is bringing the light, there is so much energy behind the scene of the power of sun. So he is not ordinary. So by thinking of the Lord is giving the energy to him. He is the eyes. Surya, sun and moon are the eyes of the Lord. So in that way we always think and offer our gratitude to Lord Krishna and Lord Surya in that way. So that way that helps us. We are getting the sun rays, we are getting the energy from him. This is good for us in our practice, because more we get vitamin D, we are enthusiastic, not become lazy, and we, by offering obeisance to our health, will be always in a right state. That also sun god helps in so many different ways. So it is appropriate, it is very appropriate. We should always respect demigods either way. So in that way it is very appropriate also. So now coming back to that, yes, Swanubhavam. So like sun is distributing the heat and light, same way as and darkness is gone, same way as here Sukadeva Goswami has assimilated personally, practiced it, and he distributed the knowledge. He directly spoke this knowledge to Parikshit Maharaj in the assembly. Not only Parikshit Maharaj, but so many others. And Sutta Goswami was there. So that's it. Because the living entities, Samsarina Karunaya, he is very merciful, he is very compassionate. Samsarina means, Prabhupada explains, means it is a repetition of birth, change of bodies. Samsarina means every minute body changing, cells are changing. The boyhood to youthhood, tata dehantara prabdhiras tatra muhyate. So Kaumaram, Yavanam Jara, as the body changing constantly from youth to boyhood to adult age to old age finally. So what makes us think it is a logic. We can see every minute, every few years body changing, that body is no longer there. Then where did it go? Then at the same time, at the time of death, when we are leaving this body, why do we think that there is not going to be any body? It is end. This life is it. At the end, there is nothing else. You can enjoy whatever way you like. There is nothing beyond this life. Some of these philosophers has that Charvak Muni, and many others have this kind of philosophy. Beg, borrow, steal, enjoy this life. But that is not all in all. That's not what Shastra is clearly telling. And then we can see ourselves, our life, our progression, our body changing. Same way at the end of life also, body is going to change. Whether we are going to get material body again or spiritual body again, that's what we have to see. So that's why this samsarina means change of these bodies. So that's why those who are inclined, those who are really understand and want to cross over, then this personalities like Sukadeva Goswami is ready to distribute the knowledge to them. Tamo andam, those who are in darkness, and adhyatma deepam, those who are looking, want to transfer and come out of this darkness to the light, tamo andam, from the darkness, ignorance to adhyatma deepam, by giving the torchlight of this transcendental knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Akila Shruti Saram Ekam. Shruti means Vedas. Essence, Saram means essence of all the Vedas. Shruti means general Vedas are always used to be heard. You just one time they speak and then you hear the Vedas, that's it, they can remember. But now in Kali Yuga we cannot remember anything. So not only one time, after multiple times also we can remember things. So that's why the chanting of the holy name is very important. And then on top of it we have to do other things also, other types of devotions of worshipping the deity, and then because the material minds are agitated, so many impurities are there, so that's why chanting itself is not helping us, because of the impurities, mind is not focused. So that's why by worshipping the deity, by personal service, by offering and various things, by hearing regularly, Sravanam and Kirtan, hearing regularly in the association, that helps us to focus more and more, developing taste for the holy name, so and developing attachment to the Lord. So that's why the other things are also important. Otherwise the holy name has its full effect. We don't need anything else. But because of we are not in that pure state of mind, so we will need to follow the other processes also. Shastra is telling Akila Shruti Saramekam. Shruti means Vedas. Shruti, from Shruti comes Shrotra, means hearing. So that's why it is. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta. What is that? Srotriyam Brahmanishtam. Srotriyam Brahmanishtam. Guru must be there. It is mandated in Mundaka Upanishad. It is mentioned. Jignasa Sreyam Sabde. No, not that one. Anyway, so what is it? Srotriyam Brahmanishtam. The spiritual master is always situated in a Brahman realization. Srotriyam Brahmanishtam. And then he is distributing the transcendental knowledge. He is realized and he is distributing the transcendental knowledge. So that's why spiritual master is mandatory. And then who is here? Same thing Sukadeva Goswami is doing. He has assimilated personally. And Akila Shruti Saram Ekam. So that means out of there are this is the essence of all the Vedas, all the Vedic Vedanta, like 4 Vedas, then Upanishad and Itihasas, then Mahabharata, Ramayana, then Puranas, 18 Puranas. Out of this, all the essence, the Vedanta, and then Vedanta Sutra is also there. But ultimately, the purest form, the cream, the milk, when you boil, keep on boiling, the cream comes. So after a long time, in order for us to make butter, we have to go through so many things. Milk to yogurt to, you have to take out the cream, then you have to transfer it, make it into butter, then, so that it takes long process. So many impurities come as you make the butter, ghee also. You have to take out, so you can imagine, that is the process. So that is why Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedas, Vedic knowledge, everything is condensed in this. So by taking that, that's what Sukadeva Goswami is giving, that essence. Only for those who are really interested, those who want to cross over, who want to come out of this repetition of birth, death. Prakriti Purusha Stohi Bhunkte Jair Gunan Karanam Gunasanga Sad Asad Janma Yonishu. Because of the living entity associating with 3 modes of material nature. Purusha Prakriti Stohi, with the material nature, trying to using it for his own enjoyment. Material nature, then automatically is receiving. Somebody rich, somebody is poor, somebody is human being, somebody is different forms of living entity. So it is based on what kind of actions he has performed in this life and past lives. He is receiving certain type of body and living in a certain family, certain opulence, certain education, certain beauty. All these things are depending on that. So that's why in order for us to make our future bright, then we should use our free will and our independence and carefully on our bank balance, the pious credit, whatever we have to use it carefully. Otherwise, it will be exhausted, and then after that, nothing much we can do. Then we may not even get human birth. So that will be the problem. Material nature we cannot dictate. We can only use our time. Rest, soon you perform an action, then material nature will give us the reaction. So that's why it is very important to understand this, how this material nature is working. So that is what verse number 3 is teaching us, that we should approach a bona fide spiritual master. We should hear among the association of devotees, and especially hear the essence of the Vedas, not so much looking for this book, that book, this book, that book, or this thing, that thing. Keep on going on, searching. Then rather we should come to that essence. So now that's why this verse is important, where Suddha Goswami further is, after offering obeisance to that Sukadeva Goswami, spiritual master, and he is elaborating, he is remembering the qualities. Whenever we offer obeisance to spiritual master, Prabhupada, Param Guru, where we are saying, please forgive my offenses, that is whenever you do Guru Puja and you offer obeisance to spiritual master, we are asking forgiveness from the spiritual master for our offenses. And then we have to remember his activities. The Samsara Dava 8 prayers we remember 3 times a day. Same way here, Suddha Goswami is remembering what spiritual master has done, what is his quality. So what is his mood and consciousness, that's what he is expressing in these 2 verses. And then further it is mentioned about not only the spiritual master, but he is offering his spiritual master also. Who was spiritual master? Sukadeva Goswami, Vyasadeva. So that's why you can see Narayanam Namaskrucha Ranam Cheva Narottam Devim Sarasvati Vyasam Tatojam Udirayat. So where it is mentioned Vyasadeva is offering his obeisance to Vyasadeva, obviously because he is spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami. That's why when we chant Guru Pranam Mantra, generally we chant also the next one. Obviously in the temple during the Prema Dvani, or when we close the curtain, we may not have so much time. We offer just the first line of our Guru Pranam Mantra. So we may not need to chant the second, but generally otherwise when we are doing the offering Bhoga, when we offer doing the Guru Puja, that time, so that time we chant full Guru Pranam Mantra. If there are 2, then we chant that, and then again Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, the 2 verses. That is the proper procedure to follow. So here, so Vyasadeva, and then further is mentioned as Sarasvati. Who actually, why Sarasvati is here? So let's go back to the history. And so how this knowledge is coming down. And then we also see here Narayan Namaskrit Naran Cheva Narottam. Why Naranarayan Rishi is mentioned and Lord Narayan is mentioned. So we should go back to the history and see why this is mentioned. So Saraswati is not only demigoddess Saraswati in this material world. Saraswati is there actually, the divine consort of the Lord, Supreme Lord, Lord Narayan. So the Divya Saraswati, Suddha Saraswati, Divya Saraswati, she is being called, where it is mentioned when Brahma was about to create, when Brahma was born from the navel of not Karnadaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, second Mahavishnu. Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is lying down in the causal ocean, and Prabhupada gives example. We take a coconut. In the coconut shell, it is a shell. Our material universe is compared with a coconut shell. Coconut generally it is not filled with water. There is gap always, generally. So like that, this universe is also half filled with water. Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is the one who is, first of all, Karnadaka Sai Vishnu expanded himself into Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. From his pores, the bubbles are coming from his skin pores. Those bubbles are universes. One of the smallest universe, that's where we are in. So in this bubble, like a coconut shell, then he is filled. Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu expanded, Karnadaka Sai Vishnu expanded, Garbhodaka Sai lying down all the way bottom in Garbhodaka ocean. He filled half of this universe with water. That's why our body is also filled with water also. One of the element is water. And then from his navel coming lotus stem and lotus flower. And then from lotus flower, Lord Brahma is born without any female energy from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So when he is born, he has started searching what to do. From the previous impressions, he is trying to create this material world. Trying to understand who he is, where he came from. Then he went up and down through that lotus stem. Then he tried to search, he couldn't find anything. Who is his source and what he is supposed to do? Then that's when he heard the voice from the sky, that Tattva, 2 words, to perform austerity, perform penance, perform meditation. Then Brahma meditated for quite some time, some years, almost 1,000 years or so. Not his 1,000 years time. It's not Divya Yugas. I think maybe less than, not even 1 day of Brahma, less than that. But in our years, yes, it is much more. So he meditated. Then after meditation, after seeing, then the Lord was pleased. Then there is mentioned Divya Sarasvati appeared, and then Divya Sarasvati is the one who has given. Then she told Lord Brahma, please take this mantra, take this Gayatri mantra. By this mantra, whatever desires you have, that will be revealed. Whatever you are supposed to do, that will be revealed, and your desires will be fulfilled. So, a very nice verse. What is that verse? Yeah, Uvacha Protas Tasmai Tasya Divya Saraswati. Yeah, further than that is there. So, where Divya Saraswati has told Lord Brahma, given there are 7 Gayatri mantra in our Brahma Marda Gaudiya Sampradaya. This is the topmost Gayatri mantra. It can give us the highest thing, Krishna Prema. So, out of the 7 Gayatri mantra, she has told about the 6th Gayatri mantra. It is called Krishna Gayatri. So, the last one is the Kama Gayatri. That is the highest one. So, 6th mantra she has given with the Bija and then Govinda, Gopijana Vallabha. So, that mantra specifically she has told. So, this is Divya Saraswati who has given this knowledge to Lord Brahma. Then he started meditating on that. Then also, Lord being pleased with his penances, Lord being pleased with his meditation, then he played his flute. From his flute, he didn't appear in his presence. Okay, we'll see that's why this Narayana Namaskricha is there, and we'll come to that. So, he didn't appear personally. Only, that's why in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first verse, we see Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave, within the heart. That's why the spiritual master to the devotee or the disciple is a heart-to-heart connection. Always. He may not need to be there personally, but he will know what is happening with you. By seeing, he will tell, and without seeing also he can tell what's going on. So he will know what's happening. So the same way here, so Lord Brahma has been given by Lord Krishna, by his flute sound, he has received Gayatri, Mother Gayatri has appeared, and then she has given the 2nd Gayatri mantra. It is mentioned Kama Gayatri. Bija mantra is there, 16 syllable mantra. The very powerful mantra that has those who have material desires that will be fulfilled. But then here, by chanting this first mantra which has received from Divya Saraswati, she has given, then through this Krishna's flute sound has come, and then Mother Gayatri has given the 2nd Kama Gayatri mantra to Brahma, and then he has received it through the 8 ear holes, because he has 4 heads. Our universe, Brahma has 4 heads to handle this universe. You can imagine this is the smallest. Bigger universe, he has 10-headed, 100-headed, like that. Bigger, there are many universes bigger than us. So he has received 4 heads, 4 into 2 years, 8 ear holes. He has received that mantra, Gayatri mantra. This is the initiation. He has received through heart to heart. Krishna from the heart, he has revealed, he has received that mantra. That's why we have mentioned, right? Dvija means. So twice born means when they receive Upanayana, when they receive the Gayatri, the sacred thread, is called so Dvija. So That's what is happened here. Brahma was initiated by Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Tene Brahmordaya Adikave. Personally, he didn't come. He was not there, but in the heart, he has initiated. The mother Gayatri appeared, and then she has confirmed this Kama Gayatri has given. So, in this way, this knowledge was, transcendental knowledge was. But then, when he meditated, he could reveal, then he could identify, understand that he is the maid servant of Krishna, and he has to engage in his service. This was been after meditating on that, this Gayatri mantra being given, then he could understand his position. But everything is not revealed. Shastra is mentioning there, Prabhupada is mentioning there, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is mentioning there, that these Gayatri mantras, it can reveal the highest thing, all the details of what is our position, what is our form, what is our service, all the details of our spiritual original position. When we come to that perfect stage, when we keep on practicing it, so through this Gayatri mantra, so all the mysteries are not revealed to Brahma at that time. Okay, Brahma in the beginning only it is been revealed just his position, identifying what his position is, maid servant of Krishna. That is the only thing got revealed. Then, so as he perfects his life, then he will become perfect. Everything will be revealed naturally. So it is that you can understand. It is not easy to directly come to the Krishna Prema. We have to endeavor. There is a process. We will come to that. So in this way we can see. That's why here Suddha Goswami is offering obeisance to Sarasvati. Without her mercy, we cannot understand. Tongue cannot speak the right things at right time. Even though we may have read, we may have remember things. The minute we speak, sit on Vyasasana or try to speak, then things may not come out appropriately. So that's why we'll need. That's why this verse we chant. So Suddha Goswami is giving that. So when Prabhupada is explaining, one who wants to cross over this material nature, these types of different material bodies, this darker region of ignorance, then they must follow the same process and the path given by Suddha Goswami, by offering these obeisances, by following the cream or the essence of the Veda, the knowledge, Srimad Bhagavatam, we should follow. And then as mentioned, we should surrender, and in the association of devotees we should hear this regularly. So that's why here that Saraswati is mentioned. Then further Nara Rishi is mentioned, and Narayana is also mentioned, because later on we see in second canto Srimad Bhagavatam in the 9th chapter, later on Lord Brahma, as he is meditating, then he starts also, there is as further, when he received Kama Gayatri and Krishna Gayatri, 2 Gayatri, then he started meditating on these more and more using this Gayatri mantra. Then he could realize his maid servant of, then he started offering obeisances. There are beautiful hymns, beautiful prayers. That's what we chant during the Abhishek, during the 16 Upachar process at home or at temple. This Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Ruksha Laksha Vruteshu Surabhi Ravipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Prama Sevyamanam Govinda Madhupurusham. And then it goes on continuously. So where through the flute sound he has received this Kama Gayatri, and Gayatri appeared and told about this Kama Gayatri, and then he started meditating. Then he could see, he could see there, this specific in Brahma Samhita, this is mentioned, okay. This could be in a different timing. Here Brahma is praying, Brahma is seeing the Golok Vrindavan, and Brahma is chanting these prayers, offering these beautiful prayers. How this material world generally is made up of so many, this earth, water, fire, air, ether, all this material element. But the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan, is made up of Chintamani gems. Everything, touchstone, whatever you want, everything will come right away the minute you think. That kind of, it is made up of, Golok Vrindavan is made with the touchstone, Chintamani. Chintamani Prakara Sadmas Kalparuksha. And then all the trees are also Kalparuksha. So it's not like in these material trees. So some may give fruit, some may have flowers, some may not have even fruits and flowers. because of this. Some are in mode of goodness, some are in mode of passion. Even within the trees, within each and every living form, there are different modes. So that's why some of them may not have all those benefits and facilities for trees to give other than the shade. Some may not even have a shade. So this is because of the three modes of materializing acting, depending on how they have performed in the past life, then they receive that kind of particular body, even the trees also. So that's why we can learn from this. So that's why it is very important to practice carefully in our life. So here so Brahma is meditating, then he is seeing the Golok Vrindavan, he is chanting these verses. There at the end, Krishna was pleased by offering this almost from 5 point, this Brahma Samhita verse number I think 29 or 30 to all the way to 56, almost 26 verses or so. These are the prayers Prabhupada has given during the initiation, during the installation, during the upachar. These Brahma Samhita prayers are chanted, very auspicious. Even every day it can be chanted. This can be used as one kind of meditation also. Very nice. There's a nice tone to it. So Prabhupada has emphasized, especially in all the temples, Sringar Arati opens with these first Chintamani Prakara and then Venum Kwanantam, then Angani Yasya Sakala. These three verses, what's her name? Yamuna Mataji chanted these verses. So that CD is supposed to be played in each and every temple during the Sringar Darshan in the morning time. So because this is the way there we can see how Golok Vrindavan, how Radha and Krishna, how Vaikuntha is there. It has been explained in these verses. So that's why mood and rasa or bhava connects when that is playing. So we are not thinking of many other things when we are in front of the deities. So that is the idea there. We are more connected to and seeing the beautiful form of the Lord and connecting that experience. So then Lord Krishna was very pleased. Then he started explaining, oh Brahma, if you want to, okay, I see you have a desire to procreate, a desire to expand. Then if you want to come to that highest level of bhakti, despite performing your activities, then you must do certain things. And Prabhupada is emphasizing there, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is emphasizing, those who are practitioners, they perform, they have to, because of they being there in the material world, they have to perform certain things. They have to follow this procedure. There are 5 things, very important. Prabhupada is mentioning beautiful verses, verse number 58 to 62. First thing, 5 things Brahma is telling. First thing, Krishna is telling to Lord Brahma before he started creation, telling you must be excited by cognition and service. Cognition means real knowledge. A real knowledge means this is called Sambandha Tattva, as first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam is telling the relationship. Then that also goes back to elaborately tell, there is a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this knowledge to 6 Goswamis. It is called Dasa Mula Tattva, the 10 subject matter. So those 10 subject matters in a prescriptive way, you can tell. In that, the Sambandha Videya Prayojana is also there. Those 10 things are somewhere. Hold on. I didn't write. So this 10 subject matters. 10 subject matters. So the Dasa Mula Tattva, where it is mentioned, so the first one is the statements of Amnaya are the chief pramana. By these statements, following the 9 topics are being taught. So the statements of Amnaya means Vedas, scriptures, Shastra. It is called. So the first point of Dasamula Tattva, anything we speak, anything we discuss, anything we hear, it must be corroborated by Shastra. There must be Shastra Praman. So this, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself is telling that. So always Shastra must be aligned with Shastra. That is the first point. And then the next 7 points are talking about Sambandha Jnana. So that's what here, when Krishna is mentioning cognition dictionary, we see that it is a knowledge The mind and the senses, using the mind, coming to that real knowledge that who we are. We are the servant of Krishna. This body, mind, sense, everything must be in relation with Krishna, utilizing in thinking of Krishna in every activity. That is that kind of cognitive faculty, they say. So that is what Krishna is mentioning. Always being excited to have a cognition and also have bhakti, devotion. So in that Prabhupada is mentioning that Sambandha Jnana. What is that Sambandha Jnana? Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. And Krishna is endowed with all energies. Krishna is the ocean of rasa, rasovai saha. Jivas are all separated parts of the Lord. In conditioned state, in bound state, jivas are under the influence of matter, this material energy. And in the liberated state, jivas are free from the influence of matter. So then jivas and the material world are both different from and identical to the Lord. That means in quality wise. But quantity wise we are not. So it is called Achincha Veda Abheda Tattva. We are simultaneously one with the Lord but at the same time different. One with the Lord because we are creating, He is creating. He is breathing, we are also breathing. He has 2 hands, we also have 2 hands. So like that His quality is same, but His quantity is big. He can create universes, He can float the universes in the air. We see the universes are floating. The sun is, all these planets are floating. We cannot float ourselves. So imagine that is our position. But Lord can do that by His fraction of energy. So He doesn't need to directly involve. That is being done by His part and parcels. So that you can imagine. So that's why it is mentioned here. Jivas and material world are both different from and identical with the Lord. So these are the 7 points called Sambandha Tattva. So that means when somebody is saying, so I know Krishna, I am servant of Krishna. What does that mean? So we have to understand all these points elaborately. Lord Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. Krishna is endowed with all energies. So we have to understand what all those energies. Samvid, Sandani, Hladani. That means Samvid means Samvid is Krishna, is the own proprietor, and Sandani is the Balaram, and Hladani is the pleasure potency Srimati Radharani. Chit, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Ananda is the pleasure potency coming from Srimati Radharani. And then Sat, Chit. Sat is eternally coming from Krishna. Chit, knowledge potency, Balaram, Baladev, Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So that's why he is the Adi Guru, he is the spiritual, all the spiritual masters are getting energy from the Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda. So these 3 are the 3 main energy, principal energies. But then he has many other energies. We are also called one of the energies, Jiva Shakti. Then we have the external energy, Maya Shakti. So there is already one recording we have discussed elaborately on that. How this Maya acts, various details, breakdown of that. So that I will not go in detail. So in this way we understand each point has elaborate subject. These 7 points are nothing but our relationship with Krishna, our relationship with the external energy, our relation with the Supreme Lord. Then we know what is our actual our relation with the Supreme Lord. In this way, that is Sambandha Jnana. Otherwise, it is not theoretically knowing just one thing, a servant of Krishna is not enough. Because then again and again we act as on the bodily platform. That means we haven't really come to that sense what it is. In reality, we haven't understood and we haven't realized, we haven't practiced enough. So that's why it is important to know these points. Krishna is endowed with all energies. Krishna is the ocean of rasas. Whatever rasas we see, primary rasas and secondary rasas, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, Santa, Dasya, and then Hasya, Vivassa, Bhayanaka, Raudra, all these rasas, secondary rasas are also coming from Krishna. Everything is there, but only in the material world it has a perverted reflection. The Hasya, the Bhayanaka, those have a different connotation in the spiritual world. When it comes to material, it becomes a ghastly scene. It becomes a big agitation and it creates so much havoc in this world. But there everything is turned as a rasa, a mellow. It brings excitement. It brings so much attraction and separation, different moods. of bhava, different moods of different rasas are there in the spiritual world, in the highest ecstasy, not of any of the material inebriety. It doesn't have any material inebrieties. So that is what we have to understand when we say Krishna is Ocean of rasa. And then jivas, it's talking about what is our position. So in this way, that is what Sambandha Jnana means. I will not go into the 8, 9, 10. The 8, 9, 10, the other two, Dasa Mula Tattva, so the last two are pure devotion is the practice of jiva. That is called abhideya. That means practice. We know our relationship now and then we practice. That is what is called pure devotion. What kind of practice? It must be in an unalloyed devotion. So that is what number 9, Dasa Mula Tattva. And the number 10 is ultimate goal. Pure love of Krishna is the goal. This is called Dasa Mula Tattva. That means 10 items of the absolute truth. This is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given in an essence, in a nutshell, to the 6 Goswamis. So here in this first verse, when here it is mentioned excitement, one must have excitement to perform your activity with cognition. That means your mind, your senses, your thought process must be in thinking that this activity, whatever I am doing, this is for Krishna's pleasure. So in that cognition must be there. With that, and bhakti, devotion must be there. So that's what first point Krishna is mentioning. So then second point is mentioned, devotion attained by slow degree by constant endeavor with the help of scriptural evidence. Three things Krishna is in the second point. Devotion attained by slow degree, because it's a slow and gradual sequence. We shouldn't jump directly. That's why Prabhupada said, Bhagavata Giya Pura Giya Bhagavat Sthane. Srimad Bhagavatam must be studied under a person who has living that life of a Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Bhagavatam will be realized and Bhagavatam can be practiced. Otherwise, Bhagavatam will not be realized and Bhagavatam will not be able to practice. Because we don't understand what it is telling to do. And we cannot put into practice. So that's why it is very important. So that's what here it is mentioned. That's why it's a slow degree. As we take more association, as we hear more from the right sources, then those who have realizations, those who are practicing, then we will be able to implement, understand, realize and put in practice. So that's why it's a slow process, because depending on how much time we give. Devotion attained by slow degree by constant endeavor. That constant endeavor must be there with the help of three things. Scriptural evidence. Always there must be. That means we cannot go with sentiment, we cannot go with our own speculation. I can do like this, I can do arti like this. Why shouldn't I do like this? You can say, you can come up with your own ideas. So this is generally in the material world we have all these ideas. Yes, in our workplace, in our business, we can use our ideas. But when it comes to devotion service, we cannot use our own ideas. Yes, our thought process, our bhava, our emotions can be individual, but the process, here Krishna is mentioning sadhana bhakti. That's the third point Krishna is mentioning that clearly. Seriously, you have to perform sadhana bhakti. Krishna is mentioning. So there is three things Krishna is mentioning. Scriptural evidence. With the help of scriptural evidence, theistic conduct. That theistic conduct is nothing but sadhu. Sadhu, one must be in the association of sadhus. Third thing is also Krishna is mentioning perseverance in practice. So endeavor. The scriptural, so one must be, Krishna is mentioning a constant endeavor must be there. With that constant endeavor, you must be always scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, which is the association of sadhus, hearing in the association of sadhus, and perseverance in practice. That means mode of service, our mode of service, name of the holy name. Especially the theistic conduct, Prabhupada is emphasizing there, the sadhus, those who are chanting the holy name, trying to chant the pure holy name of the Lord. With purity they are practicing every day. Then from their association, from their hearing from them, by getting guidance from them, then it will help. It will help to really come to that highest platform. Devotion can be attained by this process. Krishna is a very important point. Generally, so we neglect, because we only know this Chintamani, Prakara Sadmasu to all the way to the last verse we chant, but we don't know the actual these Krishna speaking. We know Brahma is speaking, Brahma Samhita, Brahma glorifying Krishna. We don't know what Krishna has said to Brahma. This is what Krishna has said to Brahma. For you are going to perform so much procreation, then you are going to be caught up in this material world. Then what you have to do, Krishna has told to Brahma. So it is telling, and Prabhupada is telling, we have to follow this. And then further, third thing is mentioning, Krishna is telling, these preliminary practices of sadhana bhakti are conducive to realization of loving devotion. So that's why, why should I perform this sadhana bhakti? Why should I follow all so much rules and regulations? I will just simply love Krishna. So why should I follow? But here Krishna is telling, you have to follow, because we are not in the stage of cowherd boys and girls, are not like Yashoda Mai, not like Sukadeva Goswami. We should follow. Yes, Sukadeva Goswami, because he was elevated, he is already in Brahmabhuta stage. That's why he walked naked. We cannot imitate that. That's why the ladies who are taking bath, they didn't cover their bodies when Sukadeva Goswami walking in. When Vyasdeva walked in, then immediately they covered. Then they told, because you are in Grahastha, you are differentiating who is who on the body platform. But because you are in the Grahastha, you have to differentiate. But Sukadeva Goswami, he doesn't have any differentiation. Any living entity is equal to all. He is in that stage. So that's why for him, there is no rules and regulations. He is not in sadhana bhakti stage. So that is it. But for us, for Brahma and for us, Krishna is mentioning here, we must perform this sadhana bhakti with these. And then further Krishna is mentioning, also important point, abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. This is also important, because many times we have all these conceptions and ideas. Let me perform so much austerity, let me do nirjal, let me do this kind of austerity, fast this day, fast that day. So many things you may have. But the actual idea of this upavas, actual idea of upanayana, actual idea of all these practices given in the Shastra is to come to close to the Lord. That means more than austerity, more than fasting, actually it is increasing the chanting, increasing the hearing, increasing the reading, increasing the listening, increasing the service, increasing the worshipping the Lord, whatever, anything in relation with the Supreme Lord directly, that helps us. That means we are spending more time. That is what upanayana means. That is what upavas means. Coming close to the Supreme Lord in these various services. So that is what here Krishna is mentioning. Give up your meritorious, don't be worried about, let me perform this austerity, that austerity, always worried about so many other meritorious activities. Let me feed these people, let me give some charity here, let me donate here. All these things is not so much important. Abandon that. Rather, you must be fixed on me, thinking of me, unalloyed devotion. So even if you give charity, that is that whole 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking about mode of charity, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. What kind of charity we should do. So we need to know this. Otherwise, we will think everything is same. Whatever charity you do, everything is same. But it is not so. So in this way, Krishna is mentioning, then when you do this, then automatically you will come to constant engagement, you will come to nistha, fixed up. Then you will develop ruchi, taste, and then asakti, attachment. These things will happen when you follow these four things. So automatically then you come to the bhava and then Krishna prema. Then Krishna is telling, finally conclude, listen, Brahma, Vidhi, Vidhi, Brahma's name. He is telling, I am the seed, I am the bija, fundamental principle. I am the pradhan, substance of the matter. I am the prakriti, material cause. This material matter, I am the cause. And I am the efficient cause, I am the Purusha, I am the supreme enjoyer. And then this fiery energy that belongs to Brahman also will conferred by me. Means you are Brahma, you are thinking to create. Who has given this? That energy also I am the one who has given to you. So Krishna is indicating, emphasizing that everything belongs to me, everything is coming from me. I am the seed, I am the pradhan, I am the material cause, I am the efficient cause. Everything is me, coming from me. So understand that in every activity what you do, and Prabhupada is mentioning, Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati elaborately in these purports, that every activity, everything, almost many activities are mentioned, from whole life activities summarized in 20, 30 activities, where it is in each and every activity thinking that this in relation with Krishna, the offering to Krishna. In that way, every activity we perform. So that's what he is telling to Brahma. That because you have 100 years to go, the long time. So for us, also same thing. When we perform bhakti and when we perform our material jobs, so many material activities we have to do, take care of in this life, then we must follow these principles. So that's why it is very important to know why this Lord Brahma has received this knowledge from Krishna, and Krishna is instructing. And same thing, then later on, Lord Brahma has received, he was meditating in the second canto, you see that he didn't see Golok. There in the second canto it is mentioning he is seeing the Vaikuntha, not Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha planets. And there he is seeing and explaining the beauty, opulence, form of the Vaikuntha planet. Lord Vaikuntha is Lord Narayan. Then Lord Narayan has appeared. He shook hand with Brahma. But in Brahma Samhita you don't see Lord Krishna shaking hands, initiating personally, being in presence with Brahma. Only he has received in the heart that knowledge. But here in the second canto you see from Lord Narayan directly shaking hands with Lord Brahma, and then he is giving this, Brahma is asking questions, and then Lord Narayan is revealing this knowledge in the 4 Chatusloki Srimad Bhagavatam, starting the Aham Eva Asam Eva Agre. So everything is coming from me. And then that way 4 principles of conclusion of all the Bhagavatam is in that 4 verses, and Brahma has expanded it. So now I am given the knowledge, you expand it, and Brahma has expanded it in this way. So we see, so that's why Lord Narayan is being mentioned here also, that offering obeisance Lord Narayan is all important in this way. And then later on also we see why Naranarayan, which is also mentioned in the 12th canto, where it is mentioned. So Saunaka is asking, how come this Markandeya Rishi is living, is able to see Lord Krishna lying on a leaf in the annihilation so long? What exactly is happening? There it is mentioned when Markandeya Rishi was meditating, he is always fixed up that time. So Saunaka is asking Sota Goswami, and then Sota Goswami is explaining to Saunaka how Markandeya Rishi, he almost 6 lifetimes of Manu, when one day of Brahma, which is 1000 yuga cycles, that means 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali, 4 yugas called one cycle. That itself is millions of years. And then that, like that, 1000 of them is called one day of Brahma. So within one day of Brahma, 14 Manus change. One Manu is 71 Divya yugas. So one day of Brahma, 1000 yuga cycles. So you divide that 71 times 14. So 14 Manus. Each Manu has 71 Divya yugas. That's how long Manus live, each Manu. So like that 6 Manu lifetimes, Markandeya Rishi meditated on the Supreme Lord. Not one day. Then Indra was upset. Indra got, he's going to do something, he's going to take my post. Then he tried to bewilder. Then he couldn't do anything because he is completely fixed up. Markandeya Rishi is not like a yogi, Vishwamitra or others. He is fixed up in devotion service. Then Lord appeared right there. So in what form he appeared? He appeared as Naranarayan Rishi. He appeared as Naranarayan Rishi, and he has given the transcendental knowledge. He has spoken to Markandeya Rishi. And Markandeya Rishi understood, and he identified, he could realize Supreme Lord. And he has mentioned about, you are the Supreme Lord, Lord Narayan, and then and you are topmost, the best human being, Narayana. Krishna and Arjuna appeared in the form of Narayan. So they received in this way, we can see. So that's why Sota Goswami is the one who is explaining the story to Saunaka. And so that's why in the beginning we can see. So that's why here, in this way, transcendental knowledge has been given in different ways at different timing. So that's why they are offering these obeisances to Lord Narayan. And out of this, in this Kali Yuga, also Lord Naranarayan Rishi, they appeared also in that Naranarayan Rishi. Even they are going to be there till the end of Kali Yuga. They are going to be there. Naranarayan. So that's why here it is mentioned Narayana, Naranarayan Rishi, Naranarayana, and also then Sarasvati and Vyasdev. So in this way, Prabhupada is emphasizing that this is the way to always offer your obeisance to spiritual master and previous spiritual master. So, one more point. 1 minute. Yeah. Conquering the material nature, material existence, so that we understood by coming to that samsarana, the repetition of changing of these bodies. That's when we have to take shelter of hearing and surrender to a spiritual master and re-establishing the lost relationship with God, and to take shelter of Vedas and Puranas. And then, I forgot to mention, and then we'll stop here. And then how to chant, how to recite, how to receive knowledge in this by offering these obeisances in this parampara. And then there are divisions of Puranas. There are 3 divisions of Puranas, and as per Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest, the topmost. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran, it is considered. There is Sattvika Purana, there is a Rajasic, there is Tamasic. 18 Puranas there are other Puranas also, but main Puranas 18 are divided into 3 categories. Sattvika Purana, which are under this mode of goodness. Vishnu Puran, you have, then you have this Srimad Bhagavatam, then you have Garuda Puran, then you have, I think, Matsya Puran, then Varaha Puran, then one more. There are 6. Then you have a Rajasic Puran, where Lord Brahma is the presiding deity, mentioned as Lord Brahma is everything. He is the topmost. Nobody else is the highest. Because those in a mode of passion, so that is Brahma is controlling that. So that's how it is mentioned in the passionate Brahma Vaivarta Puran, Brahmanda Puran, then other Puranas. Then again, Tamasic Puran, mode of ignorance. They cannot develop so much at a higher level. They cannot understand things. So for them, Lord Shiva is the highest. So there, then you have Shiva Puran, Linga Puran, Kurma Puran, Skanda Puran, and also in Rajasic Puran, this Padma Puran is also there. In Tamasic Puran, these Puranas are there. In this way it is divided, but the Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran is the topmost, the highest, the essence, the cream, the absolute truth in the purest form. Nothing else is there. Everything else is rejected. Those who want the highest thing, the Krishna Prema, love of God, then they must take to this process, take to this here Srimad Bhagavatam from a bona fide sampradaya, from bona fide spiritual master and disciplic succession. So that's what this verse, we don't have time, we haven't covered some other things, but it is more philosophy we discussed, but it is very important point. Those what Krishna has spoken to Brahma, those last 5 things, 5 principles, we have to understand and we have to apply it. Otherwise, it's very difficult to progress in bhakti. If you don't understand, if you don't have that cognition, we don't have the perseverance, we don't have that shastric understanding, shastric evidence, we don't associate with devotees and hear and practice and what they are instructing and not putting them in practice, then we cannot progress. So all these things telling Brahma, not us. Krishna is telling Brahma. Brahma is not ordinary person. And then what about us? We are minute, we are nothing. Then that means it will apply even more. We have to study carefully and apply these principles slowly, as Krishna is mentioning to Brahma. Slowly, steadily, with that perseverance and endeavor, then we will be able to come to that. It is not impossible. It is only the time and endeavor and following the process strictly. That is the only thing we need to do. Then we will get there naturally. We will stop here. We will not take questions. Please keep your questions for next week. We have to sing already 9:25. Let's sing Jagannath Ashtakam, Purushottam. Satyabhama Mataji are there. Keep your questions. We will answer next week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead. Sing loudly.
Chaurashtakam or Jagannath Ashtakam? What should I sing?
Yeah, you can sing Chaurashtakam. Yesterday, I think, in Friday, we sang Jagannath Ashtakam. Go ahead with Chaurashtakam. You can refer KK songs.
Okay.
Chaurashtakam. Go ahead, Mataji.
Chaurashtakam. Okay. Gopanga
Braje Prasida. Yeah, go ahead, Mother. Sorry. Go ahead. Mataji.
Chaurashtakam
Ki
ki
jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. So keep your questions. We'll take it next week. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam.